Hello, friends. Welcome to another bedside chat. Please excuse the voice, but tonight what I wanted to ask you about is the nostalgia craze that's been going on lately, which I love. But I'm sure you guys all heard of the new show that was going to be coming on Netflix, Fuller House. Well, when I heard about this, being a child of I was born in 1983. But obviously, I wasn't getting a lot of the, social media stuff when I was born. So I consider myself that I was a child of the late 80s, early 90s. Because most of my time when I was recognizing media and all that would have been when I was in, probably more the early 90s. I'm 32 years old now. So, but one of the things that it seemed like everybody was watching was Full House. And just like every other little kid out there, it was my favorite show. I loved it so much. I had the Michelle doll. I think I had a board game. Some of the Stephanie chapter books. I really loved Full House. So when I heard that they were doing another season with them as adults and getting another peek into the Tanner families, how things had changed as they grew up, I was really excited about it because Boy Meets World, its spin-off, Girl Meets World, is excellent. That's like the greatest spin-off. So if you're a child like me, child of the late 80s, early 90s, definitely check that out because it's awesome. But I'm getting sidetracked. I have to say, I'm kind of disappointed with Fuller House. Just some of the behavior I see in it is too risque for Full House. I mean, Jodie Sweetin, that's her name. Some of the outfits she wears as Stephanie, with those boobs popping out all over. I understand they're trying to make her into like the Uncle Jesse type figure to DJ's kids, but come on, there was no indication that Stephanie was going to be a lush, for a lack of a better word. Yes, she cared a lot about popularity and she wanted to be cool and all that, but I don't think that necessarily goes forth that she would suddenly be kind of trampy. And I feel like if you had Danny Tanner for your father, you wouldn't be dressing like that. That's just my personal opinion. I love Kimmy, how Kimmy has turned out. I mean, I haven't seen all the episodes yet. I think I'm on the 5th one now. So, I mean, I still have some to go, but so far I'm loving Kimmy. I think that she is the most normal out of all of them, which is kind of funny because she was always the oddball. But, yeah, I think the character has stayed true to itself, but grown up, which is kind of what I wanted to see. I don't see that in Stephanie. It's not true to character. With Candace Cameron playing DJ, I can see that because it's like she's turned into her dad. And I mean, growing up in that atmosphere like that, you probably would become that way. Very touchy-feely and stuff like that. And concerned with being a good mother, just like he was concerned with being a good father. I have no problem with that. But if you'd like to know my issues so far with a few of the episodes, I do have a couple. And I'll probably have more as it goes on. But I think they're treating it too much like something that would originate now. And I think if it was a new show and it was not based on characters that I already knew and they were acting that same way as the Fuller House people, I don't think I would have a problem with that because there's no precedent set for them. And I feel like watching Full House for so many years that Danny had standards. I mean, and he would have instilled that into the girls, you know. Um, so I just don't necessarily like what they've done to Stephanie. I mean, I guess somebody could argue, well, she was so worried about popularity that that's how she would dress and be, to be popular with the men. Okay, if you want to say that, fine, but I just don't think that's good. And I think that coming from a very family friendly show, I mean, so family friendly that you look back and watch it now and you're like, my God, that was hokey. Like, it was lame. And then to hear a joke about one of DJ's sons saying he was up all night working on erupting his volcano, and for the Stephanie character to turn around and say TMI and make it sound like he was masturbating. That is not something, I don't think that's something that would have been said on Full House. Maybe. It would have been maybe. But I just feel Full House had more class than that. I don't like what they did with the twins either. Jesse and Becky's boys. I mean, yeah, you could tell that they were kind of going to be brats because they weren't getting much instilled in them as to how to behave. But to make them basically like almost like two potheads that don't know anything, do anything, and waste their parents' money and stuff like that. Do you really think that Becky and Jesse would have let those kids get away with doing that? That's not true to their character. Not at all. And I can't see that Becky would be paying for those kids to be going to school if they weren't doing well. I mean, come on, she's a smart woman. And so was Jesse. So I just don't appreciate that. The other thing that kind of caught me off guard was I think it's in the third episode when they take DJ to the bar and she's got this trampy little outfit on that, like, if you know Candace Cameron Bure, anything about her, she likes to be very modest. And I looked at that dress and I'm like, seriously, you're going to call that modest? Now, I mean, it wasn't showing any more than it should have, but if she makes so much of a point to say she's being a modest Christian woman, why would she have allowed DJ to wear that dress? You know, I think she could have refused it. Maybe not, but that's what I think. That was the same episode she got drunk in. And this is the spin-off of Full House. People getting drunk. People wearing slutty clothes. Come on, people. You don't just go from being a totally wholesome family to now all of a sudden being crude. I don't see how that would happen or be legit. So it annoys me. And I mean, yeah, you know, and I think it was because I was so excited that it was going to be on the air and I wanted to see DJ's boys and all that. Don't even get me going on those children because they're the most boring characters. Like, I thought they were going to do something to spice up those characters, the children characters, a bit more. But, they're just boring. So, I think if it's worth making a remake, then you need to do it right, or another season like they're doing. You need to do it right. You need to stay true to your character. And I don't feel as though they really did that. And I've been watching for other things too, little sexual innuendos and stuff, and I know Jesse had his moments with his have mercy and his date books and pickup lines and all that, but somehow it didn't come off quite as trampy as Stephanie seems to be. So I don't know. I still want to watch it because I want to continue watching it, and I feel like if it was, a show of its own, a brand new, different show, not Fuller House, whatever, I might like it. I mean, I love Two Broke Girls, and they're about as crude as because you can get at least for my taste anyway. But I just find it kind of, I don't know, just they took characters that were written and created them into different people, and I just don't like that. So let me know, what do you think? Do you think that Fuller House is better than the original? Do you think it's worse than the original? Um, do you think that some of the jokes or things that happen are a little too sexual? Um, do you think that Stephanie's become a lush? What do you think? Um, you know, comment down below. Down there. You see it. Down there. Alright. Or you can make a video, telling us your point of view. Like I said, it's not a horrible show. Well, I didn't say, but I was trying to say, it has its moments where it's a good show. But, like, when they try to do the kitschy with the second to the youngest son, it's just obnoxious. And it's like, maybe people need to realize that you can't bring the past back. And it's sad, and you want to bring it back, but now it's back, and it's like, kind of leaves you with a bad taste in your mouth, because now that's part of the Full House series, and I don't know. I'm not happy with what they did with some of the characters. Oh, and the other one I wanted to mention is, if your husband had died just a year ago, and you've had to uproot everything to live with your dad, to be in that house, the whole life change situation with Kimmy and Stephanie coming to help her, do you think that TJ would seriously be ready to go to a bar and kind of be fighting over men and pick out men and having a love triangle? A year later, really? I mean, I know people grieve in different ways, but she didn't even feel guilty about it at all. She only felt guilty about leaving her kids at home. Well, those are just some of my pet peeves. Feel free to respond. Feel freebie, or feel. Bleh, I'm tongue tied. Or feel free to make a video of your own, or just comment yourself. So hopefully other people will agree with me. It's nice seeing the actors and actresses all grown up. I will say that. And I really like the first episode. But I'm hoping as I get more towards the middle and the end of all the episodes in the season, it'll have changed. So if it does, let me know, please. Alright, thank you. And have a good night. Tomorrow is Thursday, which means one more day after tomorrow until I'm free. So hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. Good night.